Let's get started here, boys. Let's hope my save file actually save, by the way. But yeah, so as a recap, we left off last time with Rin newly summoning Archer and being slightly disappointed, but then talking it through, and seemingly Archer manages to acknowledge Rin's ability and accepts her as his master. We're gonna go as long as we can today. It'll be fun. We'll probably be taking breaks here and there, catch up with chat. But of course, remember, no spoilers, even though I already kind of know where the enemy is going and I already know. There might be details within the quest that I don't quite know yet. Okay. So that's it, and let's go ahead and get started. Let's load up our save file. We last left off 1 day ago in the prologue, so let's go ahead and load that up. Chapter 2-1. I guess I have to click. I guess I do have to click this. Maho Senso. It is a great ritual which has been practiced for hundreds of years. If one enters the ritual, one must eliminate the other 6, as it is a battle for one's life. A battle indeed. You know, I wonder if I can like reroute this so that it doesn't like. Maybe if I tape it like that. It is said that the Holy Grail is in the land of Fuyuki, and the many magi have fought each other here in the past. They had only one purpose, to obtain the noble phantasm called the Holy Grail. But the origin of the Holy Grail is unknown. It's certain that it never received the blood of God, but its power matches that of the one in the legend. Yes. It is said that the Holy Grail can grant any wish. Only one has the right to possess it. The Holy Grail can only grant one wish for one person. But 7 magi are needed to summon the Holy Grail in this land. 1 miracle, 7 collaborators. Well, the point is, it was only a matter of time before a fight broke out over the Holy Grail. It began like an ordinary fight over resources. 7 magi used the power of the Holy Grail equally to summon a familiar, a servant, to battle the other magi. Only 1 magus will obtain the Holy Grail, and so each of them treated the other 6 once allies, now as enemies, and the gruesome fight began. This is the ritual called the Holy Grail War, a competition between magi for the Holy Grail. The magi chosen by the Holy Grail are called masters, and each master receives a powerful familiar called a servant by the grace of the Holy Grail. Oh, these cards are official cards! Huh. Didn't realize those were official. So that's where they got the cards from. There are 2 proofs that one is a master. Summoning a servant and making it obey, and obtaining the 3 command spells that can order the servant. The first goes without saying. Yesterday, no, a few hours ago to be exact, I summoned Archer to be my servant. That leaves only the second. I must protect to the end this command spell that binds the servant. For a master, this is probably the most important thing of all. The pattern is inscribed on my right hand after summoning Archer. This is the command spell. This holy sign granted by the Holy Grail is the proof of a master who has summoned the servant. This marked with concentrated magical energy is an instantaneous thing, not an eternal one. It is consumed by use, and as the appearance suggests, it has 1 use for each strike. In other words, only 3 types. 3 strikes and you're out. Master loses all 3 of the command spells will be unable to control their servant and faces death. So, the command spell must be guarded as closely as one's life. It hurts my head to think that I used one right at the start, but it wasn't completely meaningless, so I'll call it good. Because it's not unusual for servants to go against their masters. I'm fortunate to have been able to chain him by using 1 command spell. Well, that's the gist of it. Holy Grail War will start when the 7 servants are all summoned. I can't just sleep it. I don't know when the last master will appear, but it should be soon. Very, very soon.
もう朝。
Got it. Looking out of the window dazed, I notice the sun's already way up.
9時過ぎてる。遅刻どころの話じゃない。
Glancing at the clock, I confirm to myself that I'll be skipping school today.
体が重い。半分以上持ってかれたみたいね。これは。
I sit up in bed and take a deep breath. I'm not tired just because I'm not a morning person. Like Archer said, a master who has just summoned their servant cannot function satisfactorily.
そうだった。私、セイバーじゃなくってアーチャーを呼び出したんだ。
I can remember clearly. Well, it's not something I want to remember, but even if I don't like it, there's no second chance.
魔力が戻るまで1日ちょいか。今日は鳴らし運転ってことにしよう。
I slowly climb out of bed. I fight a bit against the unseasonably warm air and my desire to stay wrapped up in my blanket. I knock out the desire to go back to sleep in the 3rd second of the match and check myself in the mirror. Nothing's obviously wrong except for the fact that I have only about half the usual magical energy in my body. Everything's up to par.
まあ、問題なんてあるわけないけど。
For now, I want to check the situation. The servant I summoned is Archer. He's a rude guy with no manners to spare for a summoner and master. And on top of that, he doesn't know who he is. Oh, I'm getting a headache already.
あいつの記憶が戻るまで切り札は封印か。思い出せないんじゃ使いようがないしね。
Servants are powerful familiars on their own, but what makes them the most powerful is the fact that they all have one powerful secret move. The problem is, Archer says he can't remember what it is.
まあ、火はこっちにもあるし、なんとかやっていくしかないか。
That's right, as this is how things ended up, we're both on the same boat. I hope he sorts out his memory soon. But the way he's acting right now, who knows when that will be. Honestly. Looks like we've got a load of problems ahead.
あ、見直したかもこれ。
We tidied the place. Living room is just the way it was. I only expected him to clear up the rubble, so I moved that he went this far. Must have felt bad about making such a mess of the living room, or he wouldn't have done this. I should call him admirable or maybe just a nice guy.
日はとっくに昇っているぞ。また、随分とだらしがないんだな、君は。
I take it back. This shameless attitude, he doesn't deserve any praise at all.
おはよう。そういうあんたは随分とリラックスしてるよね。今を好き勝手使ってくれちゃってさ。
何？一晩過ごした部屋だからな。どこに何があるか把握したよ。おう。ついでだから厨房も片付けておいた。もう少し荒れているかと思ったが、なかなか気の行き届いた厨房だ。一人暮らしの洋館にしては上等だな。
I'm getting a headache. Why is my servant checking my cleanliness? They say servants think only of battle, so maybe this guy is broken somehow.
なるほど。本調子ではなさそうだな。昨夜は元気だったが、睡眠をとって疲れが出たのだろう。紅茶でよければご馳走しよう。
So at home in a stranger's house, Archer stands, takes out a new teacup without a moment's confusion and pours a fine rose-colored tea. There are all sorts of things I want to say, but I surprisingly don't feel like interrupting him. Every aspect of his motion is refined. You could even say he's being considerate.
まあいいけど、疲れてるのは事実だし、飲む。
Take a seat. He hands me the teacup suddenly and I take a sip. Oishi? Of course, it's an exotic Chinese tea. It's the best part of my favorite leaf, so I get mad if it tasted bad. In fact, I get mad when someone uses one of my favorites without permission. Yes. I would get mad, but when it's brewed so wonderfully, I'm too happy to complain.
ちょ ょっと何笑ってるのよあんた。
何、感想が聞きたかったが、その顔では聞くまでもないと思っただけだ。
I slammed the cup down on the table.
もったいない。熱いうちに味わった方がいいぞ。私が気に障るなら消えているが。
ごちそうさま。結構よ。私は茶坊主が欲しくてマスターになったわけじゃないわ。あなたもね、頼みもしないことをする必要はないわよ。
そうか。確かに私も茶坊主になったり後片付けをするために契約したわけではない。君がそういうのならばこれからは気をつけよ
ええ、私が求めているのは戦力としての使い魔よ。家事をこなすサーバントなんて聞いたことがないし、する必要も特にないわ。
う。特にはないとはどういう意味かな。
別に好きなようにとって結構よ。それよりあなた自分の正体を思い出せた？
やっぱりまずいわ。Can't remember it after one night. It's not going to come back easily. Even if we test various tickets today. It's still.
わかった。あなたの記憶に関してはおいおい対策を考えとく。じゃあ出かける支度をしてはっちゃん。召喚されたばかりで勝手もわからないでしょ。街を案内してあげるから。
出かける支度？いや、そんな必要はないだろう。出るのならばすぐに出られるが。
あのね、そんな格好で出歩くつもり？どう見ても普通じゃないし、他のマスターが見たら一発でサーバントってわかるじゃない。私、自分から私はマスターですなんて言いふらす気はないんだけど。
ああ、そういうことか。それも問題はない。確かに着替える必要はあるが、それは実体化している時だけでね。サーバントはもともと霊体だ。非戦闘時には霊体になってマスターにかける負担を減らす。
ああ、そっか。召喚されたって英霊は英霊だものね。霊体に肉体を与えるのはマスターの魔力なんだから、私が魔力提供をカットすれば。
自然。我々も霊体に戻る。そうなったサーバントは守護霊のようなものだ。レイラインで繋がっているマスター以外には観測されない。
Ley lines. Even Fate has ley lines, guys.
もっとも会話程度はできるから偵察ならばしょうがないが。
わ、便利。それじゃあ本当に他のマスターを探し出すなんて難しいんだ。
ああ。だが魔術師は魔術師を知覚できるだろう。それと同じでサーバントもサーバントを感知できる。優れた魔術を知るサーバントならば遠く離れたサーバントの位置さえ把握するだろ
Master and authority. Master is usually a great magus. Magus with strong magical energy is sensitive to other magical energy. But as far as I know, no one in this town has magical energy that strong.
ふーん。で、あんたはどうなの？他のサーバントの位置、わかる？
う。マスター、私のクラスは何か忘れたのか？遠く離れた敵の位置を探るなど岸上がりにできるものか？
I guess not. Archer's magical energy isn't that strong. I expect only the servant caster with a strong enough magical energy to locate enemies from a distance.
わかったわ。じゃあ、とりあえず後についてきて、はーちゃん。あなたの呼び出された世界を見せてあげるから。
そう目新しいものではなさそうだがね。それよりマスター、君大切なことを忘れていないか？
え？大切なことって何？
まったく君まだ本調子ではないぞ。 契約において最も重要な交換を私たちは未だしていない。
契約において最も重要な交換。
Koka Koka. Well, fundamentally, the reward for the summon is to participate in the Holy Grail War. There shouldn't be any more exchanges necessary.
君な。朝は弱いんだな、本当に。
So you'll hide the na. I just say so in surprise. Listening to the sarcastic comment, I realized something. Come to think of it, he hasn't addressed me by a name yet.
ああ、しまった。名前。
思い当たったか。まあ、今からでも遅くはないさ。それでマスター、君の名前は？これからは何と呼べばいい？
After Assault. Damn it, he is a good person. Yes, there's no mistake. After all, there's no meaning to exchanging names. Summon and master have a relationship forced upon them by the command spell. For a contract with a normal familiar, the exchange of names has a great deal of meaning, but no such bond is needed between the master and the servant. Still, Archer calls it important. It's proof of trust that we shall be fighting alongside each other, even without the command spell.
私、遠坂凛よ。あなたの好きなように呼んでいいわ。
I answer bluntly, unable to be true to my feelings. Well, actually, it'd probably be easier for me to be dressed in a reserved manner like you or Master, and it'd probably call me that. But that's it. John mutters my name to himself.
それでは、リンと。ああ。この響きは、実に君に似合っている。
There's something outrageous.
リン、どうした？何やら顔色がおかしいが。
うるさい。いいからさっさと行くわよ、あーちゃん。とにかくのんびりしてる暇なんてないんだから。
Then I'm gonna start walking. I'm back. I don't know why, but I am. Did Archer say that just to make me feel this way?
ありえる。こいつなら絶対そうだ。
Yes, that must be it. So my face getting hot and my heart the wrong part of this plan. Be careful, Reed. You're going to have to work with this crooked guy from now on. What if Archer? The city we live in, Fuyuki City, can be basically divided into two towns. Here, the place with old houses and traditional buildings is Miyama City. On the other side of the river is Shinto, where modern development is happening. My house is in the older section, Miyama City. Miyama City is broadly separated in two sections as well. This is one of the sections, Western style houses, where immigrants from foreign countries live. And on the other side is the area of the Japanese style houses, with a mountain behind it. Both sections are on top of hills, so you could say they're both suburbs. The houses in between two sections are relatively ordinary. As a demonstration, they're disordinary. This is the crossroads of Miyama City and the hill leading up to the western style houses like that. On the opposite side, a hill leads up to the Japanese style houses. A bridge leads to the neighboring town of Shinto, and the other way leads to the school, shopping district, and even Ryudo Temple up on the mountain. This is the large bridge connecting Shinto and Miyama City. A few years ago, a big station was built over that side and has grown rapidly since then. Even though Miyama City and Shinto are in the same city, you can think of them as totally different places. The city's name is Fuyuki, or Winter Tree. Fuyuki. 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 Nobody comes from the fact that winters are long here. Thinking about it, this place certainly has a long winter. In contrast though, it's quite warm here, and February here is about as warm as December everywhere else. I bet a few hot springs would turn up if you went digging around. Then again, the hot cold would make the city a poor hot springs resort. Fuyuki City has a friendly winter and a strange climate that enters spring in April with no changes. Shinto is all like this. The rapidly developing town started to build tall buildings as if rushed by something, and as a result it looks very artificial. Though that's only the last 10 years. From what I hear, the big fire here 10 years ago pretty much burned down the whole residential district. These fires were constructed on the land no one lived on anymore. And to the center
ここ
of
が
it.
信徒の公園よ。これで主だったところは歩いて回ったわけだけど、感想は？
I asked Archer who was standing next to me. I can't see him, of course.
広い公園だ。だというのに人気がないのは何か理由でもあるのか？
やっぱりそう見える？まあ、ここはちょっとした曰くがあるから。
ちょっとした曰く？ちょっとした曰く。曰く。Pretext, history, past, story. Look around the park. A park this big and organized should be a playground for kids, even on weekdays. There are only a few people here and a desolate feeling runs through this place.
10年前の話よ。この辺り一帯で大きな火事があったんだって。火は一日燃え続けて、雨が降り出した頃に消えたんだとか。その後町は復興したけど、ここだけはそのままなの。焼け野原になって何もなくなったから公園にしたらしいわ。
Archer says nothing. But even though I can't see him, I can tell that he's feeling something special.
気づいたみたいね。そうよ。ここが前回の聖杯戦争決着の地。私も事情は知らないけど、前回の聖杯戦争はここで終結してそれきり。
This must be the place where they basically exploded the Grail.
なるほど。それでこんなにもここは怨念に満ちているというわけか。
わかるの？そういうの。
サーバントというのは霊体だ。そのあり方は怨念、猛襲に近い。故に同じ無念には敏感なのさ。街中でも濃い場所はあるが、ここは別格だ。我らから見れば固有結界のそれに近い。
固有結界。固有結界。Wonder how this is said in Reality Marvel. 固有結界 Innate bounded field. Kekka is like a barrier or containment barrier. Koyu is like inherent. Asha brings up an unusual term in an emotionless voice. Koyu Kekka. Koyu Kekka. One of the magics considered the pinnacle of magi, said to be infinitely close to sorcery. For hundreds of years, Kekkai has been the defensive field that protects the mages. Put it simply, is a vicious version of the security system on a house. Boundary field is something applied to an existing area or building to protect oneself from outside enemies, but it's merely a transformation applied to what already exists. Koyu Kekkai wa chigau. Koyu Kekkai wa it's an image that erodes reality. The imagined world of a mage is a boundary field that paints over reality. By letting a mage's heart take form, this is what we call a reality marble. In other words, it's a large range magic that distorts, no, remakes the world as the mage's wishes.
リー、どうした？考え。
ちょっと意外だったから。 固有結界だなんてアーチャーのくせに珍しい言葉を知ってるなって。
なんだ、知っていてはおかしいか。
だってそうじゃない。固有結界っていうのは魔術師にとっては禁忌中の禁忌、奥義の中の奥義だもの。アーチャーであるあなたが知ってるなんて筋違いよ。
Isn't that right? I asked him her expression, and then I sensed him sighing heavily next to me.
リン、英雄とは剣術魔術に長けたものを指す。アーチャーだからといって弓しか使えないと思うのは勝手だが、私以外のサーバントにそんな楽観は持たないでくれ。
Okay. Come to think of it, he's right.
わかったわよ。今のは軽率な発言だったわ。次からは気をつけるからこれでいいでしょ。
リン、ズバリ言おう。君は優秀だが、それゆえに他人を過小評価する欠点がある。成人するまでには強制したまえ。
何気に失礼なこと言うわね、あんた。
Reform this actually bad habits out of a
いや、
horse.
失礼。別にリンがジャジャ馬だと言ったわけではない。単にイメージ通りの表現を使っただけというか。
Jajauma. Jajauma. Stubborn horse. Jajauma.
なおさら悪いわ。
The right arm suddenly hurts. Oh,
リン、
ちょっと黙って、あーちゃん。
the command spell engraved on my right hand is hurting. Small warning as if to get my attention.
誰かに見られてる。
I extend my consciousness to the surrounding. Elemental sight. I roll out the threads of my consciousness and search through the park.
私じゃ見つけられない。あーちゃん、あなたは？
難しいな。私には視線すら感じられん。
ってことは、見てるのはマスターね。
I don't know who it is, but Archer Sensei it has to be a master. There aren't 7 of us yet, but if we wanted to, we could start the fight at any time. Seems the one watching us wants to battle, but
霊樹は霊樹に反応する。マスターであるのなら、誰がマスターであるかは出会えば感じられるということか。だがそれならリンにも相手が識別できるのではないか。
ええ。けど高位の術者なら自分の魔力ぐらい隠し通せる。いくら霊樹同士が反応するって言っても、その霊樹だって魔力で発動するものよ。大元であるマスター自身が魔術回路を閉じていれば見つけることは難しいわ。
厄介だな。ではこちらはいいように位置を知らせているということか。
でしょうね。まあ私だって家探しすれば魔力殺しぐらいは見つかるだろうけど。
必要ないと？
そう。だって隠さなければ向こうからやってきてくれるでしょ。こっちから出向く手間が省けるわ。
it takes a deep breath and goes quiet as if he's shocked.
何よ、自信過剰はいけないって言いたいの？
I asked, remembering our previous conversation.
君はそのままが一番強い。はん？小物には付きまとわせてやるがよかろう。
He says, trying to hold back his laughter. Not like luggage is fun, but we decided to continue walking around town. We toured the important places, really dragging our observer around, have dinner along the way, and bring things to a conclusion. We've been walking a lot, and it's now 7. At this time of the night, our destination should give us the best view. Strong wind. Tallest building in Shinto. The view from the rooftop of this building is a fitting end for this day.
どう？ここなら見通しがいいでしょ、あーちゃん。
はあ、将来君と付き合う男に同情するな。よくもまあ、ここまで好き勝手連れ回してくれたものだ。
何か言ったあーちゃん。
素直な感想を少し。と、確かにいい場所だ。初めからここに来れば歩き回る必要もなかったのだが。
何言ってるのよ。確かに見晴らしはいいけど、ここからわかるのは街の前景だけじゃない。実際にその場に行かないと街の作りはわからないわ。
そうでもないが、アーチャーのクラスは伊達ではないぞ。旧兵は目が良くなければ務まらん。
Is this the meme, guys?
そうなの？それじゃあここから家が見えるあーちゃん。
気が見える。
いや、さすがに隣町までは見えない。せいぜい橋あたりまでだな。そこまでならタイルの数ぐらいは見て取れる。
嘘、タイルって橋のタイル？
It's not just good, his eyesight could match the telescopes you find on these rooftops.
びっくり。アーチャーって本当にアーチャーなんだ。
アーチャーって本当にアーチャーなんだ。
リン、まさかとは思うが、君、私をバカにしているんじゃないだろうな。
そんなわけないでしょ。たださ、あなたってアーチャーって言われには弓使いっぽくないから、つい勘違いしてただけ。
それは問題発言だ。帰ってから追求しよう。
These Archer has taken a liking to the view as he falls silent. He's probably working out the town's layout. Can't interrupt while he's surveying the battlefield. If I leave, Archer aside move to the edge of the building. All I can see in my eyesight is the lights below this building. Like the headlights of the cars in the street and the people going home after work. I can't tell what kinds of cars and what kinds of people they are. I can see them, but still not see them. Just like noticing someone is watching me before, but not being able to see the watcher.
少なくとも神道を根城にしている奴が一人いる。
Hit my eyes and stare below. There are 7 masters. Still don't know who the masters are nor which servants they command. Right now I assume all the masters are walking around town collecting information on the other masters. Suddenly I feel someone's eyes on me. There's no reaction from my command spell. I just feel someone's eyes on me.
下？
Look down. There are many people walking around the road. Among them is a person. One person is looking up at me as if looking up at the moon. I can't tell for sure who it is. I can't tell for sure, but I still know who it is. It's surprising. What's he doing at this kind of a time?
リン、敵を見つけたのか？
This is where she meets Shiro, right? Archer calls out to me as if sensing my excitement.
別に。ただの知り合い。私たちには関係のない一般人よ。
I answer, unable to hide my irritation and leave the place where I was standing. There's no way he could have seen me from the ground. He must have been looking up at the building by coincidence. So it doesn't mean I was noticed. But still, I'm angry that I let him see me acting as a magus. By the time we get back to Miyama City, it's already past 9 o'clock. Unlike Shinto, Miyama City is an old residential district. No one walks around after 9 and the town grows quiet as midnight.
こんなところね。街の作りは大体わかった？
ん？ああ、町のことならわかる。あとはおいおい掴んでいくさ。
なら今日はここまでね。私もまだ本調子じゃないし、家に戻って休みましょう。
We found the road up the gentle hill. And there's someone walking in front of us.
あれ、さくら？
This is bad. I don't want to see her right now.
リン、何を隠れている？
黙ってて。 うん。あそこにいるの知り合いなのよ。今日は学校休んだし、あんまり顔を合わせたくないの。
Let's take a look at the figure ahead of us. On the road, there's the well-known first-year student. And a foreigner, I don't know. They're talking about something. No, it seems the foreigner is talking to Sakura against her
リン
wishes.
知り合いとは外国人の方か？
Gaikokujin. Wait, isn't isn't that Gaikokujin Archer as well?
いいえ、知らない。この辺りは洋館が多いから、どっかよそから遊びに来てるんじゃない？
I say that much and then scold myself for being too soft where that girl is involved.
あ、じゃあ、あいつ人間？
さあ、実態はあるから人間なのだろう。少なくともサーバントではない。
Sabanto de wa nai. ギルガメッシュ？
そうよね。マスターでもないし、ただの血は喧嘩か。
Though I know she's not the kind of girl to get into trouble with a guy.
二人とも言ったな。女は坂を登っていく。男は
That goes down the road we came up.
それじゃああなたはここを使って。私はもう眠るけど、何か質問はある？
とりわけ重要な疑問はない。すぐに戦闘を仕掛けない君の判断は正しいよ。今夜は魔力の回復を行うべきだろ
ええ。それじゃあ明日、今朝の紅茶をよろしくね。
I think he gives me heart once I walk into my room.
そうだ。眠る前に綺麗に連絡しないと。
That annoying priest. Otomine Kirei. He'll already be getting ready to call in the substitute. I don't really care about that, but he's my guardian, so I should at least do the right thing.
電話と。
Dial the number. Soon the fake priest picks up.
綺麗？私だけど、昨日サーバントと契約したから、正式にマスター登録お願い。
Thoughts. A brief silence. Curious silence has enough pressure to stress you out, even over the phone.
いいだろう。ではどうする？一度こちらに顔を出さないか？君のご両親から預かっているものもある。君がマスターになった場合にのみ、成人前に伝えてほしいと頼まれているのだが。
ああ、それって父さんの遺言のこと？それならもう解読して手に入れたからいいわ。それじゃ気が向いたらお邪魔するからよろしく。
待てリン。マスターになったのなら。
I hang up, not hearing him out. Listening to Curious lecture while I'm tired will help me recover my magical energy.
さて、これで準備は終わりっと。
Yumbi wa warito. All that's left is to sleep. When I wake up next, it should be a completely different morning. 10 years ago. Holy Grail War in which my father competed as a master and was defeated. Now I'm entering the same battle. A 2 of 2. I think we will save here. Should probably save in a different slot. Because I clearly explained my immediate plans.
何？学校に行くだと？
ええ、何か問題あるかしら、あーちゃん。
問題はないが、しかし、それは。
Archer hesitates, but that's not obvious. You must have realized yesterday that I'm not the type to take back my decisions. I can kind of tell without him saying so. Archer's sarcastic, but he has an honest side to him, so it seems he won't complain about something he's accepted. Yes, in other words, he's faithful in an awkward way. This is my conclusion, no more of an intuition after watching Archer for all of yesterday.
リム、マスターになったからには、常に敵マスターを警戒しなくてはならない。学校という場は、不意の襲撃に備えにくい場所だろ。
そんなことはないけどね。いいあーちゃん。私はマスターになったからって今までの生活を変える気はないわ。それにマスター同士の戦いは人目を避けるものでしょ。それなら人目につく学校にいれば不意打ちされることはまずないと思うけど。
そうか。リンがそう決めたのなら私は従うだけだ。だが霊体化して君の護衛をするぐらいはいいのだろうな。まさか学校に行っている間はここに残れなどとは言うまい。
当たり前じゃない。学校に限らず外に出るときはそばにいてもらうからね。マスターを守るのもサーバントの役割なんだから頼りにしてるわ。
それを聞いて安心した。信頼に応えるのは騎士の務め。せいぜい期待に沿うとしよう。だがリン、もしもの話だが、その安全な場所に敵がいたとしたらどうする？
何？学校にマスターがいるかもしれないって仮定？
そうだ。確かに学び屋には生徒と教師以外は入りにくいが、すでに内部の者がマスターだとしたら厄介ではないのか？
それはないんじゃないかな。この町には魔術師の家系は遠坂とあと一つしかないの。そのあと一つっていう家系は落ちぶれてるし、マスターにもなってないし。
マスターになっていないとどうしてわかる？
あのね、うち以外に魔術師の家系がいるんなら真っ先に確かめるのは当然でしょ。そいつマスターにはなってなかったし、あっちの家系の後継者にはマスターになるだけの魔力がないから無視して構わないわ。
そうか。つまりリンの通う学校にはもう一人魔術師がいるのだな。だがマスターになれるほどの魔力を持ち合わせていないと。
そういうこと。だから他のマスターは外からやってくる連中が大半のはず。そんな連中が学校にまでやってくることはないでしょ
う。まあ今の段階ではな。だがリン、何事にも例外は存在する。もし学校に君が知らない魔術師がいたとしたらどうする？
だからいないってば。魔術師っていうのは他の同業に敏感なの。1年も同じ学校にいたらね、どんなに隠してても魔術師の存在は感じ取れる。断言するけど、うちの学校に魔術師は2人しかいないわ。そのうちの1人が私で、もう1人はマスターになるだけの力がない魔術師見習いなの。わかった？アーチャーの用心はただの杞憂よ。そんなこと絶対にありえないんだから。
だからもしもの話だ。物事には常に裏目が存在する。本来ありえざることが起こるのもまた運命だ。もしそういった事態になった場合、私に八つ当たりをするのだけは思いとどまってほしいと言っているのだ。
Archer smiles dryly. Doesn't actually make me want to take it out of him, but if I did, I would be late for school.
そんなことあるわけないじゃない。もしもの話っていうのは起きないからもしもの話なのよ。もしそんなことになったら、その時は私の見通しが甘かったってだけなんだから。
よし、確かに聞いたぞ。それでは行こうか、リン。君の学び屋まで30分。そろそろ出なければ間に合わない時間帯だ。
驚いた。もしもの話って本当にあるのね。
ああ、私も驚いている。いや、何事もケチをつけておくものだな。思わぬところで役に立った。
As soon as he finds a schoolmate get a joke around like that. Around as a student sitting in the classroom, it's almost time for homework. A lot of people rushing to the school building, we stand dumbfounded.
空気がよどんでるどころの話じゃない。これ、もう結界が張られてない？
もう結界。
完全にではないが、すでに準備は始まっているようだな。ここまで派手にやっているということは、よほどの大物か。
とんでもない素人ね。異常を感じさせる結界なんて三流だもの。やるんなら仕掛ける時まで隠し通しておくのが一流よ。
で、君はどちらだと思う？リン。
さあ、一流だろうが三流だろうが知ったことじゃないわ。私のテリトリーでこんなゲスなもの仕掛けたやつなんて問答無用でぶっ倒すだけよ。
I'm walking angrily through the schoolyard. As the majors are not about the midsworld, but I can't be satisfied until I probably punish the creator of this boundary field. After the second period, we're walking back from the music. I see a first year student walking unsteadily. Student is carrying some stack of papers and it looks like she's having trouble.
手伝うわ、さくら。
Hey, Sakura.
遠坂先輩。何、プリント？世界史って言ったらうちの担任じゃない。クズキのやつ、女生徒に使いをさせるなんて何考えてんだか。ほら、半分貸して。ありがとうございます、先輩。いいっていいって。それじゃあこれ、さくらのクラスまで？久月先生のところです。誤字があったから回収するって言ってました。納得。久月は融通きかないからね。一つ誤字があったぐらいで試験を中止させるやつだった。試験って学校の試験をですか？そう、あれは去年の中間試験だったかな。みんながガーッとマークシートを塗りつぶしてる時にやってきてね。誤字があるので正しい問題ではなかった。よって試験は中止。後日改めて行うってあの調子で淡々と言ったのよ。私たちも驚いたけど先生方も驚いてね。今でもあれは語り草よ。なんか久月先生らしいですね。それ先生、物を教える立場に間違いは許されないって人ですから。久月のは度が過ぎてるけどね。さくらもそのうち思い知るわよ。久月の堅物ぶりったら岩か山かって感じなんだから。遠坂先輩、久月先生のことが好きなんですね。先輩がそんな風に言うなんて珍しいです。そう？まあ確かに久月はもうちょっと柔軟性があればなって思うけど。
I think that, but I also think he's not bad this way. In our school, there's a teacher liked by all students and a teacher feared by all students. Balance between the two works so well. I think Kuzuki Sensei is a good disciplinarian. He's a stick in the carrot and stick approach.
まあ2年になればもっと久月と顔を合わせるようになるわ。 あいつは倫理も受け持ってるし。そんなことよりさくら、ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど、いい？
何ですか、先輩。
昨日の話なんだけど、さくら、見かけない外国人と話してなかった？
見てたんですか、先輩。
たまたま。それであれ何だったの？知り合い？
いいえ、それがよくわからない人だったんです。あの人、道に迷ってたみたいでした。いろいろ聞いてくるんだけど、何を言ってるのか聞き取れなくて、
逃げたんだ。
そっか。ごめんなさい。少しだけ気になったから。
いえ、構いません。ここまででいいです、先輩。あとは届けるだけですから。
そう？それじゃあまたね。
Pass the handouts back to Sakura. I start to head back to my classroom. I pause.
さくら、最近はどう？
はい、大丈夫。元気です、私。
そう。シンジがまた何かやったら言いなさい。あいつはどってものを知らないから。黙っていると悪化する一方よ。
心配いりませんよ、先輩。兄さん、この頃は優しいんですから。
If she sees it with such a smile, I can't say anything else. I bid her goodbye once more and turn my back on the familiar junior. The day ends. Students leave the classroom and the building gets darker by the second. The sun will set soon. When the red sun sets and night falls, there should be no one left in the school.
始めるわよ、あーちゃん。まずは結界の下調べ。どんな結界かを調べてから消すか残すか決めましょう。
I address my invisible partner. Archer must understand as I sense him nodding. Boundary field is something that protects its caster. You could call it a geographical magic in which one knits a line of magic across the land to change the interior. Infinite different effects are possible with a boundary field. There are all sorts of boundary fields. From ones that conceal the area from people's eyes to ones that limit the use of magic. The most aggressive of all are those that oppress life forms within them. Boundary field laid out over our school is of that kind. It's not yet complete, but once it is, everyone in the school should fall unconscious. But something like this won't affect me. After all, a boundary field is something targeted not at me, but at the place I am in. Such an indirect magical energy interaction has no effect of magi who have magical energy throughout their bodies. A weak current floating through the air will only be repelled by a strong current like myself. So this boundary field has a different intention. I don't know what kind of person set up this boundary field, but its intention is not to defeat a master. It's hard to believe, but its target is everyone in this school. There's only one reason to do something like that. Unbelievably disguised. Search the school building and emerge on the rooftop to finish. It's dark outside. It's 8 o'clock now, way past the school's closing time, which is 6. The only people in the school are me and Archer.
これで7つ目か。とりあえずここが起点みたいね。
An 8-stroke mark is openly drawn on the rooftop. Purplish red character only visible to Magi is something I've never even seen before, engraved with something unknown.
参ったな。これ私の手には負えない。
The person who set up this boundary field didn't think about anything. He didn't think about the boundary field is bound with some amazing skill. I can temporarily drain magical energy from this boundary field, but I cannot eliminate the boundary field itself. The boundary field can be reactivated just by having the caster put more magical energy into it again. Archer says nothing. He's been very quiet ever since we came out on the rooftop, probably because he truly recognizes the power of this boundary field. This boundary field doesn't just drain one's strength. Once activated, it will literally dissolve all the people within it. There are boundary fields that drain physical and mental strength from people within them. But the boundary field laid out over the school is on a completely different level. This is a soul eater. It's a blood fort that dissolves people within it and claims the souls that seep out. A blood fort Andromeda. ライダーとか。ライダーではね、since ancient times, souls have been hard to handle. Even though they're believed to exist and unnecessary for magic, only one maker has ever understood the soul. Souls are the only things to be investigated or things to be moved into containers. It's incomprehensible not merely to suck them up, but also collect them in a single place. It's because the magus has no use of them, even if one were to collect this unconvertible energy. So if there's a reason, it must be
アーチャー、
Acha.
あなたたちってそういうもの？
I ask coldly.
ご推察の通りだ。我々は基本的に霊体だと言っただろう。故に食事は第二ないし第三要素となる。君たちが肉を栄養とするように、サーバントは精神と魂を栄養とする。栄養を取ったところで基本的な能力は変わらないが、取り入れれば取り入れるほどタフになる。つまり魔力の貯蔵量が上がっていくというわけだ。
はい。Strengthen your servant, you must attack people indiscriminately.
マスターから提供される魔力だけじゃ足りないってこと？
足りなくはないが、大いに越したことはない。実力が劣る場合、弱点を武士で補うのが戦争だろ。周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うのはマスターとしては基本的な戦略だ。そういった意味で言えば、この結界は効率がいい。
Acha is saying that if I want to win, I should kill people and steal their strength. How simple. I already knew that. That's why I think I know which Papa I'm going to choose.
それ勘に触るわ。二度と口にしないで、アーチャー。
They saw us staring at Mark. For some reason, Acha sounds happy as he confidently answers.
同感だ。私も真似をするつもりはない。
さて、それじゃ消そうか。無駄だろうけど、とりあえず邪魔をするぐらいにはなる。
I approach the mark and extend my left arm. Magic cards on my left arm is the book of magic passed down to Kosaka family. Search on my sense. Push magical energy into the magic crash breed, the part that explains the elimination of boundary fields, and all I have to do is activate it. Abzu Videnu Mittelstand. Ab Betty. Abzu. Deduction, subtraction. Betty. Service. Operation. Mittelstand. Primary meaning small and medium-sized enterprises. Just really taking random German words and putting it in there. Eliminate surgical extraction. Second section. I touch the surface with my left hand and let magical energy flow out. This will at least wash the color off this mark. But
なんだよ、消しちまうのか？もったいね
I did to stop the erasure of the one review. A voice echoes over. I quickly stand out and turn around. Shinji. Oh, Lanza. On top of the water tower. The sky 10 meters away, a guy's looking at me. Uh-oh. Things gonna get hairy. Archer X Lance, her battle incoming. Deep ultramarine that melts into the night. His grin is wild and a bestial smell carries on the wind. The stare of the beast is a cool one. The man in blue looks at me like an old friend, even in this situation.
これ、あなたの仕業？
え。いや、 小細工を浪するのは魔術師の役割だ。俺たちはただ命じられたまま戦うのみ。だろ、そこの兄さんよ。
Casual, but his voice is filled with murderous intent. This guy can see Archer.
やっぱりサーバント。
そうとも。で、それがわかるお嬢ちゃんは俺の敵ってことでいいのかな。
Spine freezes. A normal light tone of voice. And it's colder than anything I've ever heard, scary enough to make me vomit. Can't tell how I should move or what my best course is. My reason is telling me absolutely not to fight this man right here.
ほう、大したもんだ。何もわからねえようで要点は抑えてやがる。ああ、失敗したなこりゃ。面白がって声をかけるんじゃなかったぜ。
Man raises his arm. It happens in an instant. The arm that held nothing until now. Now holds a red weapon 2 meters long. I jumped to the side without thinking. I can't spare the time to consider that I can't jump full force while on the rooftop. I just jumped with full force to the side as if trying to smash the fence. Ouch. Whirlwind brushes past my hair. Barely made it. He rushed me in an eye blink and bustling slash at the space I just occupied.
いい足してるな、お嬢ちゃん。
Uh-oh. The blue whirlwind pursues me. There are no escapes. The fence is behind me to my sides. I won't make it.
エスイストグロース、エスイストクライン。
It is big, it is small. My response is fast. I run the magic press on my left arm and assemble the magic in a single measure. It lightens my body and adjusts gravity. In this instant, my body becomes light as a feather and I leap. Reading.
分かってる、任せて。
I jump over the fence and fall from the rooftop. The wind and pressure push against my body. 15 meters to the ground, 1.7 seconds until landing. No, that's too slow. He'll catch up.
フォックス、ゴッドエスアトラス。
Fox, what is
アー
Atlas?
チャー、着地任せた。
Let Archer take the impact of landing and start to run as soon as my feet touch the ground. First, I have to change the location. We have to go somewhere we can move around freely, not a small space like a rooftop. We have to move through a large field with no obstacles to play to Archers and my strength. Run from the rooftop to the school ground in less than 7 seconds. More than 100 meters. My speed is so fast that normal people will see only a blur. But that's
い
not
や、
fast enough.
本気でいい足だ。ここで仕留めるのはいささかもったいなさすぎるか。
Meaningless against the surface.
アーチャー。
The moment I step at Archer steps in front, taking form. Cloudy night. In Archer's hand is a short sword that reflects the weak moonlight.
へえ、
The man crooks his mouth.
いいね。そう来なくっちゃ。話が早いやつは嫌いじゃない。
Large whirlwind. That's the weapon swung at me on the rooftop. The blood-red crimson lance that tried to mercilessly slaughter me.
ランサーのサーバント。
Answer no servant.
いかにも、そういうあんたのサーバントはセイバー。って感じじゃねえな。何者だ、てめえ。
セーバーって感じじゃねえで。何者だてめえ。It's no sign of a feverish casual demeanor. His response to Lancer full of murderous intent, Archer remains silent. The distance between the two is about 5 meters. Weapon in Lancer's hand is about 2 meters. That man with the bestial smile, I feel the remaining 2 meters are meaningless.
まっとうな一騎打ちをするタイプじゃねえな、てめえは。ってことは、アーチャーか。
Archer. Archer doesn't respond to the steering voice either. Confronting each other strangely are red and blue. The two counterfeit colored knights are already watching for the other's clinching blow.
いいぜ。好みじゃねえが、出会ったからにはやるだけだ。そら、獲物を出せよ、アーチャー。これでも礼はわきまえているからな。それぐらいは待ってやる。
Archer does not respond. There's nothing to say to an enemy he must defeat. That steel back of his seems to declare so. That makes me realize. I'm being stupid. Archer is just waiting for my word, my command.
アーチャー
Archer. Talk to his back without approaching
手
him.
助けはしないわ。あなたの力ここで見せて。
Would miss it? Was that a laugh? He grins as if to answer my words, and the Red Knight dashes forward. Let's go, Archer! Twirling gusts of wind. Short sword in hand, the red bullet launches.
バカが。
What meets him is a blue spear thrust. If the dashing archer is a raging wind, the responding spirit is a divine wind. Sword is swung, swing to deflect the thrust. Archer parries the thrust of his high-speed lance with a short sword. The one in red stops. The enemy did not permit Archer's rush. The enemy doesn't even let him get within 2 meters of range of the spear. For a long weapon, distance is always preferred. As Lancer has a weapon almost 2 meters long, he only needs to attack when the enemy comes into his range. Thrusting and approaching the enemy is easier than moving out yourself. But even so, Lancer closes distance himself and doesn't even allow Archer to move forward.
たわけ。旧兵風情が接近戦を挑んだな。
His tempo is like a burning fire. This is where the anime probably looks better. Lancer closes in a reach blow with no thought of stopping. The long weapon is suicidal to close into an enemy. Spearman's tactic is to use their long range to defeat the enemy and win the battle. So as Lancer is just advancing unchecked, he doesn't have a chance of winning.
嘘。
But that's just by the book. Lancer's lance shows no vulnerabilities as it strikes for the throat, shoulders, forehead, and heart. Thrust so fast that even the after images are blurred. As each strike of his lance repels, rebuffs, and pushes back Archer, any one of the thrusts could be called the final blow. But him as a bowman, Archer is a servant. No ordering attack can be a final blow. Having repelled the lance aim at his forehead, Archer closes in a speed superior to Lancer's lance. Based on its shape, you might think that the main attack of a lance is a thrust, but the basic strength of a lance is in its swings. This is because a wide swing using its long range does not allow the enemy to dodge it by stepping back. Partial retreat does not allow escape, and an attempt to counterattack will only result in a slashed stomach. But simply going forward will end up with a smashed rib on the long shaft of the lance. Archer and Lancer are similarly built. On top of that, it's hard for Archer with no heavy armor to step into range of a lance. A swung like a whirlwind. But thrusts are a different story. Blading fast thrusts certain to strike you is certainly scary. But as long as the attack targets a point, there are many ways to avoid it once you see it. As Archer did just then, hitting the shaft of the approaching lance to redirect, it slightly creates an opening. It must be because he underestimated the bowman. The advantage of a long weapon is in the length and freedom of its range. Once Archer has discarded these advantages, his defeat is... The one in red stops. A nightmare-like time is reversing. A thrust is faster than the previous ones. Archer tries to parry the blow, but he gets flicked away along with his weapon. There are no openings in Lancer's attack. Not only that, the thrust increases in speed and power without limit. It becomes a final blow even for a servant. We were the ones that underestimated him. For that servant, for Lancer's weapon, there are no general rules about Lancers. Who could ever parry continuous attack without even space to breathe between them? Archer manages to retreat a bit and parries, and as a result, the distance between them opens a little. The distance. Lancer uses his as a runaway to launch an even more powerful attack. The raging continuous attack is only a repetition of that. But the blows themselves are godlike. 10 blows already! No one must actually be many times more than that. Heavy rain of lance pour out to get more strength, trying to skewer Archer to death. It's not fast, but it's just skill. It thrusts like a waterfall with no change in speed. What can Archer do as he's now on the defensive? With such a short sword, he can only parry the lance. He has no way to close on Lancer, and he continues to retreat. A vacuum of steel unfolds. Support. I have to back Archer up, but my throat won't respond. My magic has poor aim. Unless Archer gets far away from Lancer, I will hit it with my magic as well. Such an opening will only increase Lancer's advantage. And besides, frankly, I'm captivated. This is a battle between servants. This is the Holy Grail War itself, where heroic spirits the highest rank of familiar, whom we would never otherwise obtain. Servants. Familiars are different classes that obey the 7 masters. These are the highest ranked familiars called heroic spirits that the Holy Grail summons. So it's misleading to call them familiars. Originally, familiars were just beings that ran errands for the mages. Imagine perhaps a cat in boots, or a cute white bird, or a black dog that doesn't obey its master, or something like that. Familiars that mere mages can summon are of that level. Familiars are just familiars. They are only mascots that run errands for their masters, so they cannot be beings stronger than their masters. But servants are different. They are the most powerful beings. Even for sorcerers, of which there are only 5 in this world, it would probably be impossible to form a contract with them. It's not that the summoning is hard or that even the ability of servants surpasses that of the mages. Servants themselves are beings above magic. I'll make it clear. Servants are heroes from the past. Myth, legend, fable, history. Fiction or not, these superhuman beings who gain concrete existence in folklore are what we call heroes. Hero that becomes eternal in people's minds is no longer human after their death. Promoted to another form of existence, humans who bring about miracles, save people, and achieve great deeds are called heroes even after their death. After being so-called, they're promoted heroic spirits after their death and become guardians of humanity. Doesn't matter whether these people exist in reality or only in stories. It's people's minds that creates a hero. People's wishes that this is how things should be give them form and set them up as real. Authenticity does not matter. They can have form as long as they have fame and the legend and people have faith. The ultimate ideal humans are created, the greatest human people have created. Those are the heroes, heroic spirits, and of course, since they are beyond human, they cannot be controlled by humans. A mage usually borrows their power only to mimic them. They can't summon the heroic spirits themselves. But the Holy Grail made that impossibility into reality. It summons the heroic spirit beyond human control and turns it into a familiar obedient to the master. That nonsense is proof that the Holy Grail is almighty. And with the passing of years ignored, the heroic spirits are summoned, the most recent from 100 years ago, the oldest from the ancient days. 7 heroic spirits obey each of the 7 masters, protect them, and eliminate the masters of the enemy. Heroes from every age and country are revived to the present day to kill one another for supremacy. This is why this ritual is called the Holy Grail War. It seems the Holy Grail has its limits too. Even the Holy Grail cannot indiscriminately call into the spirit like beings. Just as the form invented by humans is required for an imaginary 6th element known as the devil to take form, the heroic spirits need the form to live in this world. The form is their temporary name and the way they exist in this world. The Holy Grail has furnished classes so that heroic spirits may take form more easily, and only summons the heroic spirits that matches these classes. It's like a passport to the present to sense out the rules of familiar in advance. By allowing the summoned heroic spirit to take on the role, it helps the spirit to take form. If there are 7 masters summoned by Holy Grail, there are also 7 servants obeying those masters. There are 7 furnished classes. Knight of the Sword, Saber. Knight of the Lance, Lancer. Knight of the Bow, Archer. Mounted Soldier, Rider. Mages, Caster. Silent Killer, Assassin. Mad Warrior, Baasaka. Only the heroic spirits with attributes of these classes are summoned to the present to obey the master and become a servant. Until they added like, a million other classes. Not canon, guys. This is the Servant system. Summoning in contract with a heroic spirit without human control to win the miracle beyond human grasp. Ultimate competition held only on this ground, the one and only Holy Grail War, Maho Senso. Sorry, not the Maho Senso. Seihai Senso! Seihai Senso. A loud crash. Seihai Senso. Short sword that affected Lancer's lance slides from Archer's hand. This is Lancer's technique. Straight thrust that turns into a sweep at Archer's wrist. It was a blow Archer could not avoid even if he had seen it coming. There's no effective way of parrying a lance with a sword. Strong rebuff only results in a stronger counterattack, and a weak rebuff does not create any openings. Important aspect of the battle between the sword and lance relies in defeating the enemy when he's at the wrong range.
Manuke.
Manuke. There's no hesitation in Lancer. His movement to punish Archer back stops. You must intend to end the match in a single instant. The stairs of the firmly placed Lancer and the swordless Archer clash. In that instant, the lance is thrust just like a flash of light. It can't even be seen. Forehead, neck, and heart. 3 shots are launched. Any one a fatal blow. But the flash too fast to see is repelled by a shining blade. In Archer's hand is a short sword again. A sword like before, a Chinese sword like a hatchet. But the biggest difference is... Nito Tsukai-ka. A pair of swords. His hands are matched swords, mirror images of each other. Kansho and Bakuya. Lancer's lance flies. As if to finish Archer off, the lance moves faster and faster. Oh, I love the sword fighting sound effects. Archer defends with a burning spirit. His heart, like I say, he will not retreat anymore. No, that he will only advance from now on. The clashing sounds are like a well-orchestrated music. Two steels clanging against each other. The sparkling clashes increase in rhythm without pause. The battle of the two is like a vacuum. It sucks in the air around them. It seems like anything approaching them will be cut to pieces. In reality, it only lasts an instant. But for me looking on, it seems to take an infinitely long time. Lancer tries not to let Archer near him, but Archer advances using his swords as his shield. Over 100 blows have been thrown and Archer loses the sword every time. But it's only for a moment as Archer has the sword in his hand in the next instant, forcing Lancer back a little each time. Lancer finally admits his callousness. Even though he doesn't know who he is before he will be the loser if he dismisses him as a mere bowman. The distance widens. Probably to recover, Lancer puts a large distance between them. His speed is extraordinary. Archer's charge was out of this world, but it was still slow compared to Lancer. Movement of his retreat had panther-like speed and agility.
27それだけ弾き飛ばしてもまだあるとはな。
Some authors and irritation. No, it's more like confusion. Feel the same way. According to Fada, a servant carries only one weapon. The weapon is filled with magical energy, so it's not something that can be created one after another, like Archer was just doing. Servants are heroes that sublimate their spirits of the death, equaling the holy spirits. To put it another way, they're like devils or angels. They are powerful familiars on their own, but their most powerful weapon is the proof of their heroism, a magical item called the Noble Phantasm. Noble Phantasm is a weapon or armor the servant used when they were a hero, treated as a last resort. Noble Phantasm is the one and only weapon for a servant. This is because the Noble Phantasm is an ultimate weapon without equal. The Lance and Lancer sibling will show its power as a Noble Phantasm when Lancer deems it necessary. Noble Phantasm is an impressive weapon by itself, but its true ability is to release all its power using its true name. Heroes' weapons to rule over all the others, which have killed dragons and gods. Servants activate a Noble Phantasm using their magical energy. It's much like magic. Servants recreate the destructions in legend using the Noble Phantasm as a catalyst. Noble Phantasms are never disposable. The sword that Archer brought out must be excellent, but it cannot be his Noble Phantasm. He's the servant Archer, so the Noble Phantasm he conceals must be a bow.
どうしたランサー？様子見とは君らしくないな。先ほどの勢いはどこに行った？
タヌキが減らず口を叩きやがるか。
Lancer's irritation is understandable. Even though Lancer fought as a spearman, Archer abandoned himself as a swordsman. Means Archer hasn't shown any of his abilities yet. So it's natural for Lancer to feel ghastly.
いいぜ、聞いてやるよ。てめえどこの英雄だ？
どこの英雄だ？
二頭使いの旧兵なぞ聞いたことがない。
聞いたことがない。
そういう君は分かりやすいな。僧兵には最速の英雄が選ばれるというが、君はその中でもえりすぐりだ。これほどの宗師は世界に3人といまい。加えて獣のごとき敏捷さといえばおそらく1人。
ほう、よく言ったアーチャー。
At that instant, his vast murderous intent makes me forget to breathe. Lancer's arm moves. This is different from before, as stands free from contempt. The spearhead is lowered as if to strike the ground, and only his stab pierces Archer.
ならば食らうか。我が必殺の一撃を。
の一撃。
止めはしない。いずれ越えねばならぬ敵だ。
Lance's body sinks down. At the same time, a chill like thorns fill the schoolyard. The air freezes. Not a metaphor, it literally freezes. All the mana in the air is frozen. The only person allowed to breathe here is the warrior called Lancer. The lance in Lancer's hand is unmistakably a demonic one, and now it's waiting to take its true form the moment it
ま
strikes.
ずい。
Mazui. He'll be beaten. I don't know what kind of double phantasm that is, but Archer will be beaten. It's implausible since this is the first time I felt such intuition, but there's no doubt about it. Archer will dive into Lance's thrust. It is determined. Literally, Lance's lance is the embodiment of inescapable death. Archer will be defeated. Archer will die when Lancer pierces his heart. And yet, even though I know what's going to happen, I can't even help him. Because if I move even the finger, that will trigger the attack. So if anything can stop this battle and stop Archer's defeat, it would be...
誰だ
It would be the chance appearance of a stranger we have all overlooked. Hey, did Emiyashiro. The ghastly air coming from Lancer disappears. Sound of fleeing footsteps. The figure is definitely wearing a school uniform.
生徒まだ学校に残ってたの？
そのようだな。おかげで命拾いしたが。
Archer says calmly. Well, we were suddenly saved, but
失敗した。ランサーに気を取られて周りの気配に気づかなかった。ってアーチャー、あんた何してんの？
見てわからないか。手が空いたから休んでいる。
休んで。
んなわけないでしょ。ランサーはどうしたのよ。
さっきの人影を追ったよ。目撃者だからな。おそらく消しに行ったのだろう。
Thoughts. For an instant, my thoughts stopped.
追ってアーチャー、私もすぐに追いつくから。
Archer goes after Lancer immediately.
くそ、なんて間抜け。
It was my callousness. It's the rule of Magi to eliminate any witnesses. Which is why if one didn't want to do that, one just had to allow no witnesses. I've done that until now, so why do I have to make a mistake today of all days? It's Emiyashiro, isn't it? A night where even the moonlight is obscured. The student is lying on the cold hallway floor and Archer is standing still. He's staring silently at the student. The smell hits my nose. The blood on the floor makes it clear that it's the smell of death.
追ってアーチャー。ランサーはマスターのところに戻るはず。せめて相手の顔ぐらい把握しないと割が合わない。
Archer goes after Lancer. I'm left alone with the student lying on the floor. I look straight at him. But I must, this is my fault. This is my fault. Orino said it. Ever since I was a child, ever since I became the successor of Tosaka, I've been preparing for something like this. There's no good evil for Magi. I've always told myself that this road has only my blood, the blood of others, so
ランサーの槍で一突か。心臓やられてちゃ助からない。
I don't know how long it's been since Lancer killed him. Was he lucky or unlucky to be pierced to the heart? Because Lancer's attack isn't a simple external wound, as the flow of blood from the rupture isn't too severe. Not too severe, but it's all over when the brain doesn't get any more blood. No, basically, if his heart were pierced, he should have died instantly.
その割にはまだ死んでないってのはすごいな。
Yes, he's still breathing faintly as if to give his last scream, but that will only last a few more seconds. He can't heal his own wounds, and I don't have enough power to save him either.
顔を見ないと。それぐらいはしなくちゃ。
Try to touch the hit facing the ground and realize my fingertips won't move. They're trembling. I wonder why. I'm used to such things. I've had to make these kind of choices many times before. I've lost many things due to my mistakes and my selfishness. That's why I'm ready for a day like this. So why am I so angry at myself? Sorry.
見とるぐらいはしてあげる。
Control my trembling fingers and my failing knees and my will, and look at the face of the student. Gasp. A huge smacking sound. It really feels like I've been hit on the head with a hammer.
やめてよね。なんだってあんたが。
I grip my teeth, not to suppress my trembling. I'm really pissed off. Why is it him? Why did it have to be him? I'm not mad at Lancer for killing witness quickly and perfectly, just as a servant should do. I'm just angry at him for staying late at this place on this day. Sakura's face flashes in my mind. You'll definitely cry. I recall one red-tinted day after school a long time ago. A distant sunset. Someone always running alone, and a boring girl staring at that from far away. And before me, the corpse of someone who happened to get involved. There is a way. I feel I lose my last resort, but there is a way. 道がある. Oh, I'll lose my last resort, whether I succeed or fail, so the result for me won't change. The mistake. The fact of his death is already determined. It's my fault for not noticing the things around me. It's his fault for unluckily staying late. Yeah, now I remember Rin is the one who saves Shiro. That's why she's best waifu. So I don't need to go that far. Yes, because this is about my father who gave me nothing else left just for me. Powerful chunk of magic, energy, a reliable last resort to win through the battle. Precious thing just for me.
だからなんだってのよ、バカ。
I shake the feeling off when you in front of the one who will become a corpse in another second. And then my hand becomes lighter. My father's memento is drained almost to emptiness, and it falls onto what used to be a dying body.
まあ、仕方ないか。
Because it can't be helped. I didn't have the power or skill to revive someone with a damaged heart, damaged blood vessels, and on the verge of brain death on top of that. That's why I had to make up for my lack of skill with this powerful object.
まだ息があるのが運の尽きだった。完全に死んでいたら、どんなに魔力の蓄えがあっても蘇生なんてできなかったし。
Since he was still alive, I just did what I could and ended up saving his life.
失敗してたら目も当てられなかったけど、成功したからいいか。ええ、正直に言えば充実感あるしね。こういう経験も悪くはなかったわ。
I'm just bluffing.
行こう。済んだことは済んだこと。こいつが目を覚ます前に帰らないと。
Yeah, there's no need for me to stay here any longer. Archer should be following Lancer, so I should go home by myself. On my way back, I remember. I left the pendant at school, just a pendant now that the magical energy has been drained out of it.
もういいか。
I have no more use for that pendant. Sure, it might have been a bit of magical energy left in it, but surely less than the tendrils I have. What my father intended to leave for me was enough magical energy to win the Holy Grail War. Seihai Senso. So now without magical energy, I think it's meaningless. 意味はない。意味がないもの。Enter the house without saying anything, sit on the sofa. Archer at the back yet. I sat and listened to the clock for a few minutes.
いい加減頭を切り替えなくちゃ。あれだけの戦いを経験しておいて、何ほうけてるんだ私。
Jump out and brew some tea. There are so many things to think about. Most importantly, the servants. I have just witnessed a battle between servants I previously only understood intellectually.
ランサーか。宝具を使われそうになった時は焦ったけど、実際使ってたら正体は分かったのよね。
The easiest way to be an enemy servant is to learn their identity, ignoring for the moment the idiot who doesn't even know his own identity. The biggest weak point of a servant is their true name. Discovering the servant's true name, in other words, figuring out their identity, should let you take a guess at what kind of noble phantasm they might have. It goes without saying, but since servants are heroic spirits, they have a legend associated with them. If you figure out their legend, you should be able to find out most of their abilities. Servants are called out by their class names because they want to hide their true names. Because the more famous a hero is, the more people know about their weapons and their weaknesses. A heroic spirit that becomes a servant never gives out their true identity. The only ones that know the servants' identities are the masters. There's even a tacit understanding that the masters hide their servants' identities while trying to discover the identities of others. This is the fifth Seihai Senso. The qualities of the servants are determined by the ranks of the summoned heroic spirits. It goes without saying that the more famous heroes have better weapons or stronger, but it's difficult to summon such heroic spirits. To summon a heroic spirit, one must have a connection with them, such as a weapon they use during their lives. Even the magic association has few of such things. So generally one will summon a heroic spirit that suits them, like I did. The servant strength is determined by the rank of the heroic spirit. But it's not that simple, as the most powerful heroic spirits may have a hard time depending on the class they are assigned to. It's because of the special abilities assigned to each class, the possibility of the weak defeating the strong. The 7 classes each have a different additional ability, and one even has the chance of defeating an opponent of higher rank depending on the ability's affinity. Take for example, an Infamous hero has defeated a great hero 4 times in the past. As far as I know, the most powerful servant is Saber. In all the previous 4 wars, Saber has made it to the final fight. It is said that the 3 classes, Saber, Lancer, Archer, have strong magic resist. To put it simply, magic is pretty much useless against them. It's because they are fighters who fought through the age of myths when magics were used widely. Magics that Magi use now probably dissipate just by touching them. Anyways, that's why those 3 classes are considered the basics and the best. Another that's worthy of mention is the Sabbat Basaka. Heroic spirit summoned to this class loses their sanity. Just as the name implies, they become a mad warrior puppet of their master. The benefit of this is a strengthening of their power, far exceeding the powers they had when they were alive. However, the more powerful a servant becomes, the greater the burden it imposes on the master. In the past, masters who summoned Basaka couldn't control their rampaging servants and destroyed themselves by running out of magical energy. No exceptions. The winners and losers of Holy Grail War are largely determined by the abilities of the servants. So I expect there are ways to win it by masters' efforts, but it's basically a fight between the servants. This is why a master should be very careful when summoning a servant. Definitely consider the plans we should make from now on. The clock fixed already strikes 11 while I do so. And Archer comes home.
おかえりなさい。成果はどう？
すまない。失敗した。よほど用心深いマスターだったのだろう。少なくともこちら側の町にはランサーのマスターはいなかった。
Hansa was alone. It seems his master isn't the type to show up for battles personally.
そう。まあ、簡単にはいかないわよね。
There's no way everything will go as one might hope. It can't be helped. Let's consider what happened tonight as a tuition fee for the lessons learned.
覇気がないな、マスター。いつもの威勢はどうした？まさか、先の一戦でおじけづいたというのはなしだぞ。君が命じるのなら、今すぐにでもランサーとの再戦に赴いてもいい。
Archer protests silently that we should do so. I guess I look depressed.
そんなわけないでしょ。私が打って出ないのはね、単に無駄手間をしたくないだけなんだから。
ん？無駄手間をしたくない？
だってまだマスターの数が揃ってないでしょ。今夜のはやむなしだったけど、開戦の合図があるまで戦わないわ。それが聖杯戦争のルールだって父さんは言ってたし。
そうか。君の父親もマスターだったのか。
Archer nods, understanding. Then, Archer makes a shovel of his and starts to ponder something.
何よ。何か言いたいことでもあるの？あんた。
ああ、一つ聞き忘れていた。リン。君は幼い頃からマスターになるべく育てられ、それに従ってきたのだろう。つまり、初めからマスターになることを予想していたわけだ。
当たり前じゃない。それはいきなりマスターに任命される魔術師もいるそうだけど、私は別よ。遠坂の人間にとって聖杯戦争は何代も前からの悲願なんだから。
そうだろう。なら目的がとうにあるはずだ。私はそれを聞き忘れていた。主の望みを知らなければ私も剣を預けられない。リン、それで君の願いは何だ？
願い？そんなの別にないけど。
何？
Nani? Archer's making a funny face.
そんなはずはあるまい。聖杯とは願いを叶える万能の杯だ。マスターになるということは聖杯を手に入れるということだというのに、 叶える願いがないとはどういうことだ。
Archer is asking you a serious question. Oh, I see. The master's wish after obtaining the Holy Grail isn't irrelevant to the servant, but it's strange. Father said that servants have wishes as well, but that is only their wish. I don't think Archer should be concerned because I don't have any wishes.
よし、明確な望みがないのであれば漠然とした願いはどうだ。例えば世界を手にするといった風な。
なんで？世界なんてとっくに私のものじゃない。あのね、アーチャー。世界ってのはつまり自分を中心とした価値観でしょ。そんなものは生まれた時から私のものよ。そんな世界を支配しろって言うんなら、私はとっくに世界を支配している。
Archer looks at me with a troubled expression. I'm amazed. The guy is really hard-headed.
バカな。聖杯とは望みを叶える力、現実の世界を手にできる力だぞ。それを求めるというのに何も望まないというのか、君は。
だって世界征服もめんどくさいし、そんな無駄なことを願っても仕方がないでしょ。あなた割と想像力が貧困ね。
理解に苦しむな。それでは何のために戦う？
そこに戦いがあるからよ、ハーチャ。ついでにもらえるものはもらっておく。聖杯がなんだかは知らないけど、いずれ欲しいものができたら使えばいいだけでしょ。人間生きていれば欲しいものなんて限りないんだし。
つまり君は。
ええ、ただ勝つために戦うの、アーチャ。
I'll just show this stuff. Maybe he's disappointed in my opinion, but it seems like he's funny
まい
relaxed.
った。確かに君は私のマスターにふさわしい。
Okay. I find it hard to deal with that kind of comment, so I wish he stopped saying such things.
サーバントにマスターを選ぶ権利はないけど、一応聞いとく。なんで私があなたのマスターにふさわしいのよ。
言うまでもない。君は間違いなく最強のマスターだ。使える相手としてこれ以上のものはない。
そう、ありがとう。あなたに言われるなら世辞ってわけじゃなさそうだし。
Look away because I'm embarrassed. But now that they watch it because he speaks frankly like this, even though he's so cynical. Well, I'm honestly happy that he trusts me. Trust Archer and he trusts me. I don't think this sense of solidarity is a bad thing.
さて、ならば一息入れようか。7人目のマスターが現れるにせよ、それは今すぐというわけでも。と、ちょっと待て、リン。君、あの飾りはどうした？
飾りってペンダントのこと？はあ、あれなら忘れてきちゃった。もう何の力もないものだし、別に必要ないでしょ。
それはそうだが、君がそう言うならいいが。
ええ、父さんの形見だけど、別に思い出はあれだけってわけじゃない。
よくはない。そこまで強くあることはないだろう、リン。
So saying Archer takes out the pen and I left at school.
拾いに行ってくれたんだ、アーチャー。
もう忘れるな。それはリンにしか似合わない。
As if he's embarrassed, Archer looks away as he hands me the pen.
そう。
So,
じゃあ、ありがとう。
I accept it. To be honest, I don't know if I should be embarrassed or cool about it. Empty of magical energy, just as expensive for ordinary jewel. It doesn't hold any power. As Archer will put it, even if there's no power left in this pendant, it still has meaning as something my father specifically left for me. Then maybe I can just upload the fact that I helped the guy by sacrificing my trump
っ
card.
て待った
Demotta. Something clicked in my head. I wasn't thinking straight back then because of my regret, but thinking about it calmly, I missed something. So also it'd be dangerous unless we adjust his memory. Basically, Lanza prioritized the immediate minutes over his battle with her. Lanza's thinking probably matches his master, so if such a master finds out the guy they killed didn't die, what would he do?
そんなやつ生かしておかない
Get up from it, Silva. It's been 3 hours since then. Might not make it, but after all, I did have to make it on time. After all, I did have to make it on time. Through the night. Fortunately, I know where his house is. No, I didn't look it up. I just happen to be acquaintance of mine. Goes there a lot, though I've never been there
まっ
myself.
たく余計な苦労を背負おうとしているぞ君は。
Archer has no interest in cooperating. He was against saving the guy when he was dying, and he's against me going to help him right now. Midnight. Under the cloudy night sky, we reach the Japanese-style house. There's no sight of anyone in this house on the edge of the residential district. There aren't many houses around, and there's no one to come and help if something happens here. My breath is white. Wind starts to pick up. Must be quite strong as the clouds start to drift fast. Supposedly warm wind of Fuyuki sends chills on my spine, making me tremble. Even if Fuyuki city is considered warm, it's still cold on the hill. Air around here is frozen. I strain my ears in a cold atmosphere. In the frozen feeling, I feel a small sense of an enemy.
いるさっきのサーバント
Bite my lip. His presence is perceptible on the other side of the wall. Lanza's in the house already, and I'm about to kill the same guy again who has just come home without a clue as to what happened.
飛び越えて倒すしかないその後のことはその時に考える
Just as I'm about to command Archer to go in. Flash of light. A bright white light like a fallen sun comes from within the house. The presence is eclipsed by another presence. The wave of power for the servant Lanza is consumed by an even larger wave. Instantaneous explosion of ether gives the spiritual being a body summoned to overpower Lanza.
嘘
Uso. The summoning of Seiba. I can only mutter. But it's true. To prove it, Lanza jumps over the wall and leaps away as if fleeing from this place.
ねえアーチャーこれももしもの話
さあな。だがこれで7人。ついに数が揃ったぞリン。
Archer answers calmly. I've lost my normal judgment. That's why I didn't even consider the obvious event that would follow. Wind blows strongly. Clouds cover the sky like an umbrella. The unlit suburbs are enclosed by darkness. The servant jumps over the wall, coming down like a demonic bird. Archer has reacted already, but I couldn't react. That was my mistake. The battle ended with that small opening, not lasting even a second. It might have been only a second for me, but for that servant it was an opening that couldn't be ignored. A sword rushes for me.
アーチャー
Archer pushes me aside and the servant slashes him. Happens in an instant. Archer, who handled Lanza's superior attacks beautifully, has been taken down with one blow. I make it in time this time. Just as the enemy servant is about to cut off Archer's head with a blade, I forcibly remove him. It in my right hand. It must have been excessive command. So a command spell has disappeared from my hand. Now there's only one remaining, but this is for the best. Rather than having Archer die, I would prefer to lose 1 or 2 command spells. Giving no consideration to Archer's discipline, the servant attacks me.
なめるな
I take from the car a topaz with wind spell sword, and then I launch all the magical energy it contains to help without processing it. This thing which can blow away a house without trace is a bundle of wind sword that's stocked up over time. It's one of the 10 jewels I've been putting my magical energy into for 17 years without rest. I'm using all the magical energy stored in it, so even if I can't defeat it, I should at least slow her down a bit. No, not even that. It did nothing. The sword of wind that instantly tears anything apart caught within it disappears like a magic trick that instantly touches the servant. Such strong magic resistance. Mere magical energy from a mages cannot hurt this servant. But this is it. She can't be hurt by magic and I've lost the protection of Archer, so I can't stop this servant. I barely managed to avoid one blow, but that's all. I look at the night sky. And it is the figure of the cold-hearted death looking down on me as I lay misery on the ground. Nani? The wind blows. In between the dark clouds and the spiral sky, the moon shines. The falling moonlight and the beautiful face. This is the servant that drove off Lancer. Defeated my archer in one strike, and now my magic with no trouble.
今の魔術は見事だった、メイガス。
The girl's voice is like a bell. Yes, this voice is like a nightmare right now. It's only natural. The more beautiful my enemies, the more of a nightmare it is, as I cannot believe the difference in our strength.
だが最後だ。アーチャーのマスターよ。
Archer no master. One of the heart shines brilliantly. On the verge of death, I understand. With just one look, without proof. This is the card I wanted. The one that said it was the strongest of all servants, the hero of the sword. Say. Rub at the moon, accepting my death. There's no time for me to flee or plead for my life. I will die here until Sakura's holy say high sense will end on the third day. There's only a disgrace and regret. I'll probably vanish bearing a grudge against my enemy. Still, I don't feel anything. Something must be really wrong with me. Even though I'm going to be killed in an instant, I adore her again. That's right. If you ask for regrets, that's it. But I guess it can't be helped. Because she's the most powerful servant. Because her figure is just so heartless, so infinitely valiant, and so beautiful. Wait, what? We have an anime opening? Nani? I see Ryder. What is going on here, guys? Is this part of the visual novel? Kirei Kotomine. Lancer. Oh, Lancer is Kirei's servant, isn't it? He cheated. He totally cheated. Right, Assassin. Kasta. Basaka. Right, Assassin. Lancer. Oh, ah, yes! Ilias Vir. Archer. Neighbor. Excalibur. Emiya Shiro. It's the Realta Noir. But why did it go and then like it ended for me? I'm very confused. Why did it go back here? I hit start? What happens? I am the bone of my sword. Steel is my body in fight, but I have created over 1,000 blades, unknown to death, nor known to life. I have withstood pain to create many weapons, yet those hands will never hold anything. So as I pray, unlimited blade works. What's it? Is this supposed to happen, guys? Like, when I came to, I was in a burning field. Oh, I finished the prologue, guys. Oh, okay, so the entire prologue is told through Rin's perspective. Okay, that makes sense. And then first is when you actually start doing Shiro's arc. Relationship? What's relationship? Ilias Veil. Green Sakura Saber. Interesting. Man, that was pretty good though. That was pretty good. I'm gonna take a quick break. So I'll be back. So bring back our loading screen here. Oh, that was a good prologue. I actually almost forgot like she was basically like almost killed by Saber. When Saber was first summoned. That was epic. And I really like the choice of like using Rin as the narrator to basically like explain everything about the Holy Grail War. She's like the perfect character to do that, and it makes the most sense. Um, like having Rin as the narrator, essentially a little bit there. Bum bum bum. Ba dum bum 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 bum. Dota, let's go. You guys are having a good time. Na 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 na. Alright guys, we are gonna call it here, but see you guys later tonight for some Genshin content. Yeah, we'll be doing the Not Cry in full Japanese, so